Okay, guys, we're going to be in Deltamath today. I'm going to put a 30 problem assignment up on Deltamath, and it's going to be broken into two categories. So this is the first category, which is simplifying radicals guided. So here just asks you to do the steps that we would normally write out by hand. And we should practice this writing out by hand stuff because I'm going to post also a worksheet that's going to give you about like another 20 to 30 practice problems. It's not graded. So you might want to do the worksheet first and then come back to this because this is going to cap you at a number of attempts. Okay. Remember, I don't want you guys spending hours on some of these problems. I want you just, if you can do 30 minutes a day, that's going to keep you sharp and keep you fresh. Okay. So if I'm looking at radical 300, I want to break this up and I want to think about things that it's divisible by that happen to be perfect squares. Since I see the last two numbers are zero, I'm going to, of course, start with square root of 100 times square root of 3. Okay, so this is initially how I'm going to break this up. Okay, and I will put those in the two radicals. And when I hit try, it's going to tell me that's a good way to start. Okay, now one of those factors is a perfect square while the other one is not. Okay, so square root of 100 is going to give me 10. Oops, excuse me. And square root of 3 we can't take, so we leave that underneath the radical symbol. Okay, and that looks good so far. Now it tells me to submit. Okay, and we're good. We're on to the next one. Now 252. Okay, when we're looking at 252, I can see that it is in fact divisible by 9. So I'm going to start there. Let's break this up into divisible by 9. If you need your calculator, you can say 252 divided by 9 and enter, and that's going to leave you with the 28. Okay, that's a good place to get started. So 9 times 28 is going to get us to initially start to break this up. And that's good to start. Okay, now 9 we can take the square root of. It's 3. The 28 we can't, not initially. So it stays underneath the radical. So that's looking pretty good. But it's telling me that there's another perfect square factor within 28. Okay, and when we think it's a small number, so let's start with, is it divisible by 4? It is. So we'll put the 4 in front. 4 times 7, square root of 4 times the square root of 7 gives us the square root of 28. But the square root of 4 we can take, and that's going to be 2. Okay, so the square root of 4 is going to become 2. The square root of 7 stays underneath the radical. Okay, so this is going to be okay. But now you have two rational values out here that we're multiplying. So 3 times 2 is going to give us the coefficient out front of 6. So we have a rational 6 out front and a radical 7. Okay, and that looks pretty good. And we'll hit submit. We'll do a couple more. Here we have 240. Okay, in 240 we can do this the slow way. So I'm going to break this up. I'm going to put a 4 in there initially. Okay, we know it's divisible by 4, and that's going to be 4 times 60. 4 times 60 is going to give us 240. Okay, square root of 4 we can take. It's a 2. Square root of 60 we can't. But it is correct, at least at this point, but now it's telling us, hey, there's another factor in 60. All right, 60 is not divisible by 9, so let's go back to maybe 4. It's definitely divisible by 2. If I divide it by 4, I think I'm going to get 15. So we'll put a square root of 4 times the square root of 15. Okay, square root of 4 we can take, square root of 15 we cannot. Okay, now the square root of 4 is going to become 2. Square root of 15 we can't take until it moves down. Now you've got two rational values out here. You have the 2 that was out there before and then another 2 that we got. So that's going to give me a coefficient of 4 on the outside with a 15 underneath. And now it tells us we're done. Okay, I'll do one more and then we'll go off to the next section. 252 we actually did before, so that would have been 36. Let's grab the calculator real quick. Wow, I totally blanked on what it was before. 36 and 7. Okay. So 36 on the outside, 7 on the inside. That's a good way to break it down. Square root of 36 is 6, and the square root of 7 we can't take. All right, since we did that one already, I'm going to go do one more. 180. Okay, 180. We can clearly see that 18 would be divisible by 9, so I'm going to start with a 9. 9 times 20 would give us 180. Okay. Square root of 9 is going to be 3. That'll stay on the outside. Square root of 20 we can't take, so it stays underneath. So now that's looking good, but they're telling us that 20 can go further. So the square root of 20 can be broken up into the square root of 4 and the square root of 5, and we're going to break it up that way because 4 is a perfect square. So the square root of 4 is going to give us 2. Square root of 5 we can't take, so it stays underneath. So that's looking good, but now we have 2 rational values, the 3 from before and the 2 from now. So 3 times 2 is going to give me 6, and the square root of 5. Okay, now stay tuned for the video for the next piece.